welcome to the Saturday night chill stream of the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. While we wait for people to show up, just play a little bit of Geoguessr and get started. Get my windows organized so I can actually see chat. Always helps to see chat. Hold on, what's... Yeah, okay, audio output's where it needs to be. And let's get started. Let's see where they drop us. Okay, I immediately think Britain because look at these pavements, this like asphalt footpath. That is very Britain. And you've also got these number plates. You can't really read the number plates, but they're yellow and they're wide. And wide yellow number plates is also a British thing. These bins ought to have the name of the local authority on them, so let's... Nice of them to drop us here on bin day. Bloody people don't point their bins so we can actually see the name of the local authority. Come on. Illegible. Damn. Hugh Fraser Drive, that name means nothing to me, but the street sign style means a lot. That is very much a UK style for street sign. You don't see that in that quite that configuration in many other places. So I can say with a fair degree of certainty we are in Britain. Okay, and we've got a roundabout. We're in a residential estate in Britain, and there's a roundabout, and that doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. I mean, theoretically, we could also be in the north of Ireland. We haven't seen anything that contradicts that. We haven't seen anything that suggests it either. West Berkshire. We are in West Berkshire. Okay, we are in the home counties. You know, where Slough is and other exciting places. Should have worn my Berkshire Antifa t-shirt that I picked up at the Anarchist Book Fair in London a few years ago. If I'd known we were going to Berkshire, I would have. Okay. Now to find out where exactly in West Berkshire we are. Bellway Renaissance. Another bloody roundabout. Turkish barber. Lots of those in Britain. Way more Turkish barbers than Turkish restaurants. Okay, a Green King pub. So that's pretty solidly second tier. Called the Water Tower. I am a girl. Hello, Ludlow. Okay, we're gonna Yeah, okay. Looks like we've attracted a troll. And I've already banned them. So let's get back to West Berkshire. Fish and chip shop. Fuck. Yeah, let's see. Fucking Twitch. I have actually blocked this troll, and yet... There we go. Yeah, the kind of transphobic shit that you seem to be starting out with. Ah, the weekend's going pretty well. And now I seem to have properly blocked this annoying person. The Polyglot Gathering have, like, reopened their language live chats. Calcut, the Water Tower bus stop, Water Tower pub. To Calcut IKEA. Okay, so we're in an area where there's an IKEA on the bus line. And, okay, we're near Reading, apparently. West Reading, Museum of English Rural Life. And how have you been, Ludlow? Royal Berkshire Hospital. Woodley, Screwfix. No, that's the 3 tons. We're looking for the water tower. And it might be... Okay, there's Calcut, where the IKEA is that bus is going to. The lawn, the bath, Lazio design. Where are you located again? Brewdog, soju. Soju sounds good. Back of Beyond, Weatherspoons. And yet what we're looking for, the weather station, Hope and Bear. Via Southcote, Ford's Farm, Beansheaf. Oh, yes, that's right. I remember now. You did tell me that. Southcote. Sunning. What were the others? Ford's Farm and Beansheaf. Let's see. Well, let's just see what other stops there are. Calcott. All stops, because I do want to see. Okay. Monk's Way, Southcote Lane, Mayfield Avenue. This is bus 17 apparently. Ah, hell, it doesn't actually give the route number. But there's the water tower. I don't know. It might have done. Certainly brought me near there a few times. Yeah, British place names are a trip. Claire's Toppers, Avenue Deli. This is going to be a long stream, but I am going to take a break around midnight. The Hexagon. Pure Gym. Wendy's, Hope Top, another Weatherspoons. Taco Bell. I've never seen a Taco Bell in Britain before. I guess Berkshire has to have something. I am on Eastern Time. Close, not London, but on the outskirts. It's Reading, which, to me, I mean, my only real association with Reading is that that is where I know to start getting my stuff ready on the train to London. Because when it hits Reading, the next step is going to be Paddington. And we're by a pub called the Water Tower. Which is also by a water tower. In Reading, yes. Reading Kebab and Grill. Cafe Yoke. Royal Berkshire Hospital, the dairy. Home cooking. Let me see, what... Oh, let me back up a little bit, because that route number on the bus stop... The Reading bus number 15. That's why we're getting Reading bus 15. Okay. The water tower is by Calcutta Sainsbury's. Okay. So... Here's Calcutta. And there's Sainsbury's. It's a Green King pub, which fits in with Sainsbury's because that's sort of a second-tier pub, and Sainsbury's is a second-tier supermarket. Dorking Way. Enjoy the pudding. Taking the biscuit, the Avenue Deli. Oh, come on. Jet flow heating. Tilehurst, okay. Tilehurst Triangle. And D Road Fire Station. Let's see if we can reconstruct this route from that. Oh, Burfield. This is one of the censored areas on British maps. That's a good question. I haven't seen the street sign. We're right by, what is it? AWE Burfield. Which is part of Britain's WMD program. And the maps were by Furs Road. Because they make nuclear weapons in Burfield. Oh, well, okay. AWE Burfield is now on the map. It didn't used to be. Like, there are all sorts of things like this where... There's a great... If you look it up, there's a Mark Thomas video. It's on YouTube, last I checked, called Secret Map of Britain. Where he goes through all these locations that are censored on British maps. And a lot of them still are censored. Google collaborates in that. The Cunning Man. There's Bean Sheaf. Like, on the road, when you take the bus to London from Cardiff, you go on a motorway called the M4. That, it actually also passes Reading. You can't avoid Reading, really, without taking a ridiculous route. And there's a spot, not far from Newbury, where there's a turnoff from the M4, westbound, if I remember correctly. And there's no sign indicating what the turnoff is. Just a sign that what used to be in Ministry of Defense colors, white, black, red, saying works unit only. And what it was the back door, the back way into RAF Welford, which is the biggest NATO weapons dump in Europe. And so you can see, and on the map, on, let's see, Southgate Beefeater, on Google Maps, you could see this, you see the turnoff, but it doesn't connect to anything. And you can't actually see, like, RAF Welford, at least didn't used to be actually marked on the map, but if you went to satellite, you could see it. Oh yeah, I know. It would be really unusual for Google to collaborate with governments to hide things from citizens, like, say, a certain maritime-themed website that helps you save on streaming services. Like, if you really can't give up the avocado toast, there's this maritime-themed website that can really help out with that. Okay. We're just gonna say... there's Asda, that's British for Walmart. Okay, it'll be around here someplace. 935 yards. Shit, I went past it several times. And it did not actually... There's nothing on here that says the water tower. Okay, 49.97, not bad. Okay, we have scuffed streets. Yeah, all sorts of very irregular resurfacing and a forest. That could be a lot of places. It certainly doesn't rule out the US. Okay. Come on, give me something. It could also be Russia. Get plenty of scuffed streets in Russia in the middle of forests. Ah. Oh, did you missed a good one last night. Have you ever heard of Ariel Scarcella? Okay, this is not the US. I'm calling it now. That is not a US sign. These colors are wrong. Okay, she was a lesbian comedian who started a YouTube channel that did, like, just sort of general kind of, like, lesbian-themed comedy. And she was on Tim Pool because apparently she was attacked by the woke mob for unspecified reasons, which, when you look up her name, which I had to as well, it turns out it's because she's a TERF. She went from doing, like, funny lesbian content to just doing transphobic shit. So anyway, she described herself as, like, being on the forefront of gay rights because she started a YouTube channel back in 2009. And yeah, and she doesn't know what Stonewall is. Neither did anyone in the Tim Pool studio. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she's the one who thinks that Stonewall was a parade before it was a riot. Okay, something heavy, some kind of industry going on. Okay, yes, that's Cyrillic. That T tells me all I need to know. This is some place that uses Cyrillic. It does not tell me which kind of Cyrillic it is, though. Yeah, I mean, I could not believe it. First, I mean, one of the like co-chuds that Tim Pool has there now that Weed Lord went off to do his own thing, be his own Weed Lord. It was like, yeah, what's Stonewall? And I was already kind of like, really? And then she manages to get the entire history wrong, while at the same time talking about what a great queer elder she is and how important it is, how terrible it is that the woke mob are turning their backs on someone like her. That's exactly what I mean, and all of them would use that T in that way to indicate tons. So it could be Russia, it could be Ukraine, it could be Bulgaria, it could be Macedonia. Yeah, it could be fucking Serbia, Belarus. Oh, hold on, there was a sign there that I missed. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. I've been having trouble with Twitch. When I was doing my Geoguessr Learn Languages through Geoguessr stream on Twitch a couple of days ago, Twitch actually, it wasn't getting through to Twitch at all. And I tried like restarting it, I did all sorts of stuff, and none of it worked. Come on, there's got to be something that says what this is a road to. I mean, it is a road to resurface. Are we going to get onto a motorway? Is that what we're headed towards? Ah. Yeah, that's... Yeah, you did, didn't you? Oh, hold on, there were posters. Are any of them legible? Okay, that looked like Roman alphabet, actually. Oh, we yon reset, I think that says. We are in Moldova or Romania. Yes. Moldovan is the only Romance language to be written in Cyrillic, although they also use the Latin alphabet. Oh, hold on, let's see if there's anything on the front of this. Dock. I've never heard of a dock truck. Doesn't say anything of note on the back. Okay, now we're getting to some place that looks kind of inhabited. And we have a place name. Negomir. Which could very well be a Romanian place name. Dragotest. Never heard of any of these places. Only the second time I've ended up in Romania. Yeah, that is Romanian. In Cardiff, the street flower market on the weekends in the city center is totally cornered by Romanian women of a certain age. And I always end up totally surprising them because I talked to them in Romanian and they are not expecting that. Yeah, but Moldovan, I don't know. Do they... Let's just have a quick look there. Yaloveni. Oh, there. Oh, I know a way that we can narrow it down. Ion Bisset. Yeah, that wasn't a good search. Well, I didn't know that parliaments could actually, meaningfully declare that. I mean, it used to be that, in France, they claimed that Basque was a patois of French, which did not actually change its genetic affiliation to a language family we have no knowledge of. Okay, and so we continue. Dragotest again. That it is, but it's still a bit ridiculous for parliaments to be declaring these things about... I mean, it's one thing to be saying, to be, like, declaring something an official language or something like that. That, at least, you can... There's a logic to it, but... Declaring two things the same language... when actually, from a linguistic standpoint, the concept of dialect, there's no actual linguistic difference between a dialect and a language. I mean, that is a little bit odd. Okay. Okay. Officina locale. Yeah, I know. Which is, I mean, it just strikes me as kind of, like, what, did they not have anything else to be doing in Parliament that day? Negomir, Turchen. Okay, we've got a bunch of place names that we are near. Negomir. Negomir makes me think we're actually probably closer to the Balkans. That is a very Serbo-Croatian-y name. Yeah, that much I already knew. Yeah, we're trying to figure out where in, most likely Romania, I think, because Negomir is a very, it sounds actually quite Serbian. So I think it's probably in the borderlands there. And, Negomir, maybe. And welcome, Igor. Good to see you here. Krajova, Karcha, Bajlest, Draganest, Olt, Virtuape. Yes, language is quite complicated. Makes it quite interesting. A favorite saying of mine. Siganesht, Peretu, Draganjesht. Draganjesht, wait a second. Draganjesht, wasn't that one of the ones that we'd seen a sign for? Bujoren, Tomulesht, Rasmiresh, Vitanesht, Kopachu, Botorwaga, Stulpu, Kukuruzu. I guess they must make corn there. Vitanesht, Nanov. Okay. Chervenia. Iswarele. Yeah, it could also be in the Kirnogi Mitren Udesht. Could be bordering as well on Bulgaria, I suppose. Nice Slavic name like that. Rosets, Modelu. Say around here someplace. Oh, I wasn't far off. Okay, I mean, in terms of general regions. Matasa, okay. 4151, not terrible. Considering... Highland Home Cemetery. Okay, and we've got this dual carriageway. This is very North American to me. And it's right-hand driving. It's just a sign for Highland Home Cemetery, yes. Indeed. Truck bypass. 52281 state routes. That doesn't tell me a whole lot, but we have confirmed that we're in the US. Someplace in the US. Где находится? Ну, да бес его знает. Divided highway. Okay, I think we're in the south. Those signs are much more common in the south, I find. I haven't seen anything that would completely specify the region, except that, I mean, it isn't a desert. This could be a whole lot of places. Okay, that looks like a National Guard post. Have we got a sign for this National Guard post? 15th Street Northwest. So it's one of those. Okay. Yeah, lots of military vehicles here. 잘라 못이 있던가 옷 잘 입고 말을 잘해 못이 있던가. Yeah, or at least a motor pool or something like that. And where are you joining us from, Igor? Oh, wait a second. That looks regionally specific. And suddenly it's winter. This is the thing I love about Google Maps. Tree City, USA. Arbor Day. Okay. Oh, what part? Очень рано вставаешь. Или еще спать не пошел? Oh, there we got a sign. There we got something. Come on. And now it's winter again. Fort Seward Historical Site. That name does not mean anything. Yeah, I would guess so, because what is it? It's like, what, 6, 7 in the morning there? Это же воскресенье. And Carlson Center, where you can get all the Ann Carlsons you need. It is the official source of Ann Carlsons. Just like you can't get Jamestown, North Dakota. Okay, North Dakota, Jamestown. Cannonball, Jamestown! World's largest buffalo. That's how you know that this is a very small town. Because they only do that shit to get people off the highway in places where there's no other reason people traveling around would possibly get off the road. USGS. Jamestown Campground. There's 281. Helena Chemical. Yeah, like 15th Street Northwest. Or 15th Avenue. Oh, wait, they got streets and avenues. Fuck off. You don't get to be the size of Jamestown, North Dakota, and have numbered streets and numbered avenues just to confuse people. But there's there's 15th Street Northwest. Although, if there is one, that would make more sense, because whatever it was connected directly to that dual carriageway. 12th Street Northwest, 5th Street. Oof. I think we're close enough, actually. Highland Home Cemetery. There we go. That's exactly where we need to be for the purposes of this. 285 yards, 49.99. The Malatsimwe. Okay. This does not feel North American. Tingkatsupe Rumah Teres. Rizab Melayu. We are in Malaysia. Fairly certain of that. Because Melayu means Malay. Although, under certain circumstances, we could also be in Singapore because they also speak Malay there. Let's see if we get anything more informative. Kuala Lumpur and Johor Bahru. Okay, E2 on the way to Kuala Lumpur. Well, that kind of narrows it down. Kuala Lumpur, AH2. Wait, was there something else? Yeah, E2 plus. E8. E18. E25. E21. No. E2 plus. All the E2 you're used to. Plus extra nutrients, I don't know. E2, there we go, E2. It's only 7 miles off. That's probably one of the best I've done in Malaysia. 49.63. And here we are on 5 of 5, and I'm already fairly certain we are in the US. Though we could, of course, also be in Canada. We are by a school. That much is also clear. Let's see if we can get a name of a school. Sometimes that can... Sometimes they even will have the state or provincial flag flying outside of them. And that's handy. Speed limit 35. We're in the US. Penfield High School. Oh, hold on. We've got real estate. Prudential real estate. We need an area code off of this. And that is, well, it starts with a 2. And what have we got there? We've got... postmodern neo-Protestantism. Hodgson Heating and Cooling, trusted since 1933. Well, you know, if people started trusting you in 1933 and they didn't go off you by 1945, you must be doing something right in the heating and cooling industry. Dues, pizza and subs, and grocery beer and wine pop. Sportsman's Club. We're in Michigan. Battle Creek. The hometown of Bill Knapp's restaurants. Don't tell me there's another fucking Battle Creek here. 269 area code. Let's just be sure. Michigan, Lower Peninsula. Yep. Yep, there we go. Battle Creek. We're looking for a Penfield High School. Penfield Charter 2. That's where Penfield High School is gonna be. Penfield High School. We are on Capitol Avenue Northeast. There we go. A nice finish. I know about the reason Battle Creek is familiar to me, is precisely we used to go to Bill Knapp's all the time when I was growing up. That was like our big dinner out thing. 49.97, 891 yards off. Yes. If they haven't gone off you by 1945, then you're probably doing slightly better than some who began being trusted by some people in 1933 anyway. And since that also is FDR, and the thing is, you can make a very good reference with Caleb Maupin there as well, because he's also a big fan of at least one politician who came to power in 1933 and stayed in office till 1945, and he likes to be a bit ambiguous about the other one. Speaking of which, it's time to do some chud bowling. We're going to do some bowling on, bowling bouncers on chuds. Okay, we can, let's see, discussing BreadTube serves imperialism with Jimmy Dore, who Tim Pool was also defending on the video last night. He was like, well, how could somebody possibly say he's right-wing? You platform one neo-Nazi and suddenly people are questioning your affiliations. Let's see. We've got woke. Okay, and there's some various Tim Poolcast shit. Former Trump administration official claims that China is determined to destroy the U.S. The Trump movement is winning. Will end globalism. Or, I mean, we can, the Jimmy Dore thing, I mean, I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, yes. Yes, I know. That Sam Huntington bullshit will get repackaged a million times. So I can't quite make up my mind here. And I will be taking a short break around midnight, since this is going to be a longish stream. But we've got a little under a half an hour to go until then. So any strong feelings about what to check out? What to be bowling at? I type these full stops in chat because it kind of deconstipates Restream. And that is an occasional issue. Or we also have, let me see, children should not choose their gender, an unapologetic special. Or, you know, some, the various dick casket videos we've got here. I really missed it. I came up with that the other day, and I realized I really missed a trick by not just calling him Wiener Sarcophagus. Because that's just... Okay, any strong feelings? Anything you would definitely be interested in? Anything you definitely don't want to see? Biden says New World Order is coming, alludes to fourth turning with Amy Jashinsky and Bozo. Or there's Xanderhole we've got too. We got lots of Xanderhole too. Or PragerU on how to think objectively. I'm sure that's not going to be at all dubious. I am open to suggestions on here, so feel free to chime in. Wokeness is chaotic and destructive. That's another... Okay, well, a short one isn't bad because it's going to be taking a break at midnight, so a short one actually, I think we're going to go with wokeness is chaotic and destructive. Let's see where this bullshit takes us.
I think wokeism has evolved into something meaningless.
Okay, well, this is going to be, okay, it's meaningless, because it's interesting because all the rest of the time he is ascribing meanings to it, but now it's meaningless.
And so what the problem is, there are a lot of more philosophically mature individuals who can look at...
well, yeah, I mean, if you can't trust Tim Pool on somebody's philosophical maturity, the guy who his entire worldview is derived from Rush Limbaugh and Marvel movies, and with this wonderful decor here, I mean, like... I mean, the room, it's like the room every 12-year-old wants. Then I don't know who you can trust on the subject of philosophical maturity.
The literature, look at the Frankfurt School, look at critical race theory's origins, Kimberly Crenshaw, Derek Bell, etc., and the things they've said, and try to make sense of it. The problem is, while these things may have been contributing
Oh,
factors...
I'd love to see him try to make sense out of Kimberly Crenshaw. Yeah, I would be absolutely fucking amazed if he's even read Kimberly Crenshaw.
...to what wokeism has become. Wokeism is more akin to a fire. It is reckless, it is wild, it spreads, it consumes and destroys. And if you take a look at a lot of the big cancel culture moments of the past decade, they actually don't align towards any ideology. So,
okay. Again, I mean, if you can't trust his analysis of an ideology, I don't know what kind of world we're living in.
So my favorite example of the contradictions of the woke are when there was a women's organization that tweeted the word Wimixin.
Oh yes, I remember. So by the way, so did Elizabeth Warren. That's the moment I thought, oh my, like Elizabeth Warren.
Okay, who's this dude? Steve, is this Steve Hilton, I guess? Never heard of him. Let's see what his deal is. Yeah, Steve Hilton from London. He's a Tory. Okay, Fox News. How orgy of green virtue signaling line Vladimir Putin's pocket. Writes for the Daily Mail. This is like a step up in terms of a guest for the for Pim Tool. Okay, so
Sets herself up as this great intellectual, policy person, and then what is she doing? Just total pandering, madness.
So this organization tweets the word WOMXN.
Yeah, I remember that.
What organization? Like, what?
Like
Adherents of wokeism, though, said that's offensive. How?
Which adherents of wokeism? Which organization? Somebody just typed the word WOMXN. What was? Okay, I feel like I have some vague recollection of this. Do you, Mask of the Red Death, have any idea? Does this ring a bell for you? Let's just see. Tweet. Okay. Twitch, oh, okay. This organization, it looks like it was Twitch. And they were allegedly slammed. By who? Oh, okay, so... Okay, what's the deal? Okay. Who actually... Okay, so a politician criticized them. Okay, so an organization, it was Twitch. Oh, yeah, okay, so some people said that might be, that could be transphobic. Yeah, okay. So, like, I love how he does this so vaguely, so...
How dare you create a different word that implies trans women are not women? And so now you simultaneously have the word woman being non-inclusive and being inclusive, and women...
No, that is not what you simultaneously have. You have... Yeah, I mean, it is silly. But, I mean...
being both simultaneously not exclusive and inclusive, there is no appropriate thing you can say that can be determined to be acceptable to woke other than...
Okay, first of all, yeah, like, if they had said women, literally nobody would have complained from the standpoint of anything that could be called woke. If they had just written WOMEN, as they did actually in the statement accompanying the tweet, where they said WOMXN, then nobody... So the issue is he doesn't actually comprehend what the criticism is, doesn't actually understand anything about the issue, and therefore that is a failure of wokeness?
Than to drop to your knees and adhere to the power structures. There's no moral framework. There's no logic guiding their principles. It is just, we win, period. It is more...
Wait, except there was a logic guiding their principles. The people who said that could be seen as transphobic were saying that it suggested that trans women weren't women, as you just pointed out, Tim. That is the logic behind it. That was the logic of the objection. You pointed out what the fucking logic is.
Like a swarm of wasps than any functioning ideology.
Yeah.
And again, I'll stress, when we look at the Frankfurt School and we look at, Weimar Germany and Antifa and the anti-fascist,
Oh, wow, he pronounced it correctly.
Rampart, the Berlin Wall, and all of the history that leads today, smart people, mathematically oriented people are trying to calculate and analyze, and they're missing what's really going on. A chaotic, destructive force that will say and do anything to win.
I think...
Okay, you mean sort of like, I don't know, people who declare that anything they don't like is critical race theory, maybe? Like, a chaotic and destructive force that doesn't give a shit what they say. I mean, you haven't given an example of that, but I mean, you kind of are an example of that, Tim. Because you will say any bullshit that seems to be... What? Women? That sounds weird. I mean, theoretically, I suppose you could.
I agree with that, and I think that the other bit I'd add to it is the way that so many institutions have been.
Yeah, but normally he says like Antifa. I mean, to the extent that, like, to a great extent, I find when you hear that mispronunciation, it's almost always right-wingers saying it that way because they want to sort of avoid the fact that it is Antifa.
Co-opted into it in a totally superficial way. The other bit I'd add to it is the way that so many institutions have been co-opted into it in a totally superficial way. And particularly if you think about corporate America, I think that's a really great example where the way that this has spread like wildfire. Your analogy.
Okay, if wokeism has no ideology, if it has no tenets, if it is totally chaotic and random, then how is it possible to be co-opted into it?
Is a good one through corporate America, and they suddenly kind of announced we're going to have their training sessions and Robin DiAngelo's the set text and all this kind of stuff.
Oh wow, you mean diversity trainings? Yeah, that's only been going on since like what, the early 90s is the first time I heard about them happening. Yeah, I mean that's the early 90s. That's recent. Congratulations, I've received 100 messages today with Restream chat.
Haven't thought about it. Those, the HR departments and they haven't sort of bothered to read. It's just like, oh, this, we better do this because everyone's going on about it and our employees are going to, and we've got this vocal minority of our employees who are saying, why aren't we doing our training or whatever it may be, or social media, a few vocal people. And so they're all going for
it. Did this guy just notice that this is a thing?
Without even giving it a moment's thought. It's totally superficial, and that's why the virtue signaling, I think, is just such a big part of it.
It's meaningless.
It's just like it's just one buzzword after another. Yes, it is superficial, but the only reason that like diversity training comes into it is because it is responding to a thing that has tenets. It is like an attempt to provide a watered-down bullshit version of anti-racism in order to be able to say, hey, look, we're not racist. you know, even while at the same time actually not being that, not being anti-racist, because because they very much profit from a capitalist system that relies on racism. But that, I mean, again, these are each example they're giving. It is a thing, and there's nothing inconsistent between either of these two things that they've even given as examples.
It's just, are you in line with the cult or not? And if you're a part of the
Exactly
cult,
right.
then
Yes.
But if the cult has no principles, if the cult has no ideology, if it's all just totally random and chaotic, then how can you be in line with it? And
Exactly.
the swarm will attack.
I think a lot of this chaos is deliberate.
oh, this is Luke Turdkowski. This is the guy who he was another example of the Occupy Wall Street to far right pipeline.
The first thing that comes to mind is the famous saying, order out of chaos. And when you look at a lot of very prominent elites, whether it's Ted Turner, Henry Kissinger...
He was explaining yesterday in the video we were watching how he's a libertarian, and because he wants rich people to rule, and he wants rich people to rule over our lives without any restrictions of any kind, and also he hates what rich people are doing with the power they've already got. And his head did not explode. He is...
Rockefeller, they're the ones that were very instrumental in opening up China to the world and cheering on what was happening during the Cultural Revolution and their population control efforts. And you see a lot of these very powerful individuals.
Oh wow, this is like a very nice intersection with Caleb Muppet here. Because it sounds like he's like moving towards Malthusian. If he doesn't use the word. Yeah, it sounds like this is one of his preoccupations.
Individuals
Anyway.
also now call for the Great Reset to build back better and implement similar policies that are...
Oh, except that, what the hell? Okay, first of all, the Great Reset is some bullshit you people made up. Second of all, Build Back Better was a badly named bullshit infrastructure program that is not happening in any meaningful sense. And what the hell does that have to do with the Cultural Revolution and the one-child policy? Like, what is it? Like, what even... You're talking about other people say shit that is chaotic and meaningless and has no internal logic, and you say some shit like that?
essentially are creating the Western world into being this kind of Orwellian Chinese social credit score system that I think that they've been trying to do here. And
Well, like, for example, can you give me an example of where any of the things you just listed is that?
I think one way that they will be successful in doing that is by dividing and conquering, having people fight each other on trivial differences, on absolute nonsense, as they get away with pulling off this great reset, as everyone...
And in that context, it truly is a mystery how someone like Tim Pool could possibly get all the algorithmic boosting and, like, right-wing media support that he does, because, what, you know...
is chaotic and fighting each
can
other.
you just talk about... I've heard that phrase, and I don't really know what do you
Which
mean
phrase?
by it,
Which
Rich?
phrase?
The Great Reset. I know.
Oh, this should be good. Have them try to explain what the Great Reset is?
Is that a... What is that?
Well, that's a phrase used by many powerful individuals, especially within the World Economic Forum, by
Such as?
individuals like Klaus Schwab. There's a lot of corporate heads. There's a lot of billionaires. There's
like, for example, yeah, exactly. Quite right, Mask of the Red Death. He's describing their strategy and ascribing it to the opposition. Well, at the same time, we have this idea that the opposition, which is vaguely defined, we haven't had a single, like, actual... Well, we had Robin DiAngelo was mentioned. That's, like, the one name we've... And the Frankfurt School, I mean, I heard some dogs whistling when they brought that one up. Maybe they're gonna get into some... cultural Marxism at some point in this. Okay, So go on.
Even the Pope came out, said that he's making a corporate coalition of people in industry that will put on the Great Reset.
Okay, that's finally a name we can ship. Pope Great Reset. Did he actually say? No. No, actually, he did not. It was described that way by the same people who made up the term in the first place. He did not use the phrase.
The World Economic Forum described it as people owning nothing, having no privacy, and being happier than ever. And this is, of course...
Wait. Yeah, okay, who at the World Economic Forum described it that way?
It's their phrase.
Yes.
The
and then you see many prominent politicians say we need to implement the Great Reset. We're here to build back better. Biden's policy...
Those are two completely different fucking things. And the whole idea, the Great Reset, supposedly, I mean, that was a conspiracy theory around COVID precautions. And now, since Biden isn't doing anything about fucking COVID either, and now he's taking the money that he didn't spend, his government did not spend, of the COVID relief package, and he's handing it to the fucking cops, to beat the COVID out of people, I guess. And since they can't attribute it to COVID precautions that aren't happening, now they're dumping it on an infrastructure program that is basically constipated to buggery and probably isn't going to happen in any recognizable form. Wow, that's versatile.
His, quote, infrastructure bill is literally called the Build Back Better plan, where he talks...
Well, yes, which doesn't help you at all, because you were saying Great Reset.
About printing trillions of dollars and spending it on equity efforts and other social climate issues that, of course, are the absolute opposite of what they pretend to be.
So
and the thing isn't happening. So you're talking about this thing. I mean, this is what they've decided to demonize. This is more examples than they usually give. So an infrastructure bill that is stalled because of the rotating villains. And, let's just face it, when we're looking at Geoguessr, one of the ways you can tell you're in the US is because the infrastructure is scuffed as fuck. Actually spending some money on fucking infrastructure wouldn't be the worst of ideas, since we kind of regularly have bridges crumbling and shit. But, so they've decided that that's where the Great Reset is going to be.
So Klaus Schwab, I wanted to... Go on.
I'll give you the simple version.
I just get very excited every time I see the world at Davos. Anyway.
Here's a simple version.
God, okay, and this guy doesn't even know what this is. Just some mainstream fucking Daily Mail dickhead. Mainstream right-wing media. From a newspaper that famously celebrated Hitler and demonized Jewish refugees. And this guy does not, the fucking rabbit hole he's ended up in, he doesn't even seem to know what it is, because that's a pretty standard right-wing chud talking point, this bullshit about the Great Reset, and he hasn't even heard of it.
We have right here this website, worldeconomicforum.org/great-reset.
Yeah.
This is something on their website. It's not
it's amazing.
The media.
That's why
the media has tried covering it up, claiming it was a conspiracy theory.
Okay, let's just see. Cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, so yeah, which is not happening. Nobody's fucking... I mean, the US sure as hell isn't doing it. Britain isn't doing it. Okay. I think Thought Slime actually did a video on this bullshit. But, I mean, so this has nothing to do with the fucking infrastructure bill that isn't happening. This is about the COVID response that isn't happening. Like, they should be happy because the people who are coming up with these global conspiracies that they're so worried about and monetize so heavily are apparently crap at it because they're not achieving any of it. They should celebrate. Wow, look, the Great Reset's not happening. Instead, we've got over 1 million totally needless COVID deaths. And I mean, fuck the World Economic Forum, too. Although it's weird to see people who actually do think the rich should rule the world having a problem with the World Economic Forum, which is one of the ways that rich people rule the world, like where they get together and sort of come up with ideas to keep things going in favor of the capitalist class. And it's all totally, I mean, it's totally fucking public. You can see pretty much all of it. None of this stuff is a fucking secret. So, like, their big conspiracy theory is from one thing that didn't happen to another thing that didn't fucking happen. Yeah, oh, yes, your man, every bird upon my word. Yo ho, I'm a provo, every hand in jail. Oh god, I can't get the melody from the middle, but yes. And it wouldn't be surprising if there'd be another rising, says the man from the Daily Mail. Okay, and I'm going to take a little break now, because this is a longer stream than usual, and certain things need to happen. I will be back in, say, about 10 minutes or so. A little bit, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. But I will be back. I'm just going to put that in chat. And a good song to sort of ring us out there. So... back. Just a much needed break because these longer streams, you do need just a couple of minutes now and then to stretch your legs and get a drink of water and stuff. So let's get back. Where we were left off was that Tim Pool and his merry men were talking about how they hate they love the status quo, but at the same time they think that rich people are conspiring against everybody, and they're doing it so ineffectually that they've had to change what the Great Reset means 2 different fucking times just to keep the fucking conspiracy myth alive.
The gist of it is, I'll tell you, they put out a video. It said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. By 2030, they wrote an article where they said, like, your living room will be used for business meetings when you're not around. You won't own things. You'll just use things that are available to you.
Well, that's kind of what a lot of people already do. It's called renting. It sucks.
You'll have no home or bedroom. People will come and use your stuff as however they see fit. What they're ultimately trying to say is...
Well, let me see. Where's this "you will own nothing and you will be happy" line? Where's that actually coming from? Oh, welcome back, Ludlow. Good timing, because I was actually... Okay. You will own nothing and be happy is... okay. I just got back from a little break as well. Okay, Russell Brand. Where? Okay, if we got an actual source, I mean, the right-wing bullshitosphere is full of this. Who the hell is Klaus Schwab? No, Magnet Thatcher. I had the same immediate thought as well. Yeah, let's see. Is there an actual... Okay, did he actually say this? Okay. Let's... First of all, yeah, okay, the world... First of all, like, the World Economic Forum certainly doesn't want to get rid of private property. Private property is the only reason those motherfuckers actually have any power at all. Well, they... the right-wing... the right-wing bullshitosphere has taken, okay, what you want you'll rent and it'll be delivered by drone. It's 8 predictions about the world in 2030. And it's basically just about precarization. Oh, and it's not, okay, it's attributed to this Klaus Schwab of the WEF, but it's actually Danish politician Ida Auken who wrote it, and he said... And, okay, it was a scenario showing where we could be heading for better or for worse. So, okay, this is just bullshit. Schwab didn't say it, And the person who said it was not actually saying it as an objective at all. And of course, the idea that the World Economic Forum, where the official circle jerk of the rich wants to abolish private property, just makes absolutely no fucking sense. Not that that stops.
They think
say there global. What is it? Stakeholders to cooperate.
Global stakeholder. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis
Blah,
to
blah,
improve.
Which, I mean, fuck the World Economic Forum, but that's not wrong. One of the big problems that we have is that countries like the U.S., who have decided to let it rip, are actually making it harder for other countries that have been trying to actually get this thing under control to do that. Because people from the US who are untested, undiagnosed, and highly infectious just kind of go fucking anywhere. And it fucks everything up, and it just completely fucks up other people's methods. At the same time as there's so little monitoring here that, you know, new variants can just prosper here without ever really being detected. And they only get detected when they go elsewhere. And since recognizing, presenting complaints is always a fundamental aspect of, you know, early detection, new variants fuck everything up. So yeah, I mean, that's not wrong. Their version of what managing the direct consequences of the COVID crisis, I mean, is probably going to be horrible. But that statement is not something that can be really objected to. I mean, it's just a totally reasonable statement.
The state of the world Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. You will own nothing.
Where are you getting that from?
This is the World Economic Forum.
No. You will own nothing. What's that about?
So that's a video they produced and ultimately deleted that said the famous line.
No, it isn't. It was a text written by a Danish politician predicting these things.
They put it on Twitter.
You will own nothing.
You will own nothing.
Was that an
and you will be
opinion
happy.
from one of their people?
Yes.
Or was their corporate view?
This is more pushback than you usually see Tim Pool get it.
It's their official view. It was an official World Economic Forum statement that was put out. So that you take a look at what Joe Biden
it actually was not.
has been doing. He wants to shut down another oil pipeline. He shuts down Keystone. He bans fracking. With the crisis at the port.
He's fucking breaking records for oil extraction right now.
Ports, with the crisis of inflation, with the constant lies from the media. First, they said there's no inflation. Then they said there's some inflation, it's not a big deal.
It's transitory.
It's transitory. Yeah. Then they said it's going to end. Now they're saying it's here to stay. Now,
and they're the ones using that in order to attack the possibility of even having any more COVID relief or raising the minimum wage to a halfway livable level. I mean, they're the ones putting it out there, this whole inflation thing. Without actually talking about how, I mean, in the end, it's all fucking price gouging.
Now they're saying inflation's actually a good thing. So what's happening is all across the board, there's a labor shortage, there's a product shortage, there's an energy crisis in the U.S.
There's not a labor shortage.
And I got to tell you,
no,
it may be conspiratorial. But when they come out and say...
It may be. It may be conspiratorial when Tim Pool has an explanation for a thing that he doesn't understand.
Build Back Better is the slogan of their project in the Great Reset. And then Joe Biden says, we're going to build back better, and this is the Build Back Better bill.
Wait, so you're saying that it might be a bit conspiratorial to suggest that Joe Biden might actually be advocating a bill, which he isn't actually anymore. He's more or less said it's dead in the water. Using his horrible slogan in the first place. Of course he fucking is.
Isn't it more absurd? Wouldn't Occam's razor suggest that to deny they're actively trying to destroy the economy would be the conspiracy?
No, I don't think that. I think.
Well, what does it mean, destroy the economy? I mean, it's funny. I was just thinking about this because in a related context, because one of the big problems that we have with the whole discussion around the economy is that the entire economic conversation, as promoted by the media, amounts to like a dialogue where it's like, hey, so how you getting on? Oh, well, my boss is doing great, thank you very much. No, I was asking you how you were getting on. I have no responsive information. I mean, the economy, as it is portrayed in the media, is just, how rich people are doing. And no, Joe Biden does not want to fuck up the economy. Yeah, he's completely fine with screwing over working people. That's, the screwing over working people is how the economy fucking works. The economy, as measured by these fucking indicators that, in dominant media are preferred, does not mean that actually that average people are doing particularly well. It just means that that profits are good and God.
I think that I want to look. I want to be fair to what I think they mean, which is, and actually I suspect underlies this. Even though I can't stand Davos. He tried to sue me because I wrote some piece about him being
what, Davos, the town in Switzerland, tried to sue you?
totally corrupt, which he is.
He is, yeah.
And I've
I get it. He's confusing Davos, the town in Switzerland, with the guy, because there's the guy who invented the Daleks on Doctor Who is Davros, and so he's decided that's the fucker's name. It's Klaus Schwab. He's the founder.
first-hand experience of it in terms of how they approach participants in the conference, and how he's siphoned off the money. And I put it in a newspaper.
The whole conference is about siphoning off money. It's capitalists getting together to work out the best ways to continue siphoning off money. You can't really... It's like, if you're okay with rich people siphoning off money in the first place, and the Daily Mail, yeah, they're kind of okay with that, then how the fuck can you object? How the fuck can you object to the founder of a conference where rich people get together to figure out the best ways to continue siphoning off money from the rest of the population? Because he's siphoning money off of the conference about how best to siphon off money from the working class. I mean, and how can you do all of that and then accuse your political adversaries of being incoherent?
Article, which I think the headline was something like, attending Davos should be as shameful as running a sweatshop or something.
And I have to say, I can't disagree with that.
Whatever. Anyway, he went nuts and the whole thing. But then with the Build Back, so I'm very happy to have a go at Davos any moment of any day. With the Build Back Better, I think what they're getting at, I think, and I would say not all of this is crazy, is to say that what you've seen as a result of the pandemic is all sorts of things that are broken about how we organize the economy and society.
Oh my god! I mean, this is the Tim Pool effect. That, like, the one when you get Tim Pool and his mates in a room, the one person who says things that are like somewhat related to reality is the guy from the Daily Mail. Like, what timeline are we even in?
Actually, we could do with fixing. One really obvious example of that, I think, is our dependence on China. The fact that so many of the pharmaceuticals are made in China and so on. I think that's a great example of something that the pandemic has revealed to everyone. I mean, I've been making
the moment has ended.
Argument for a long time. In my first book, I argued for decoupling from China.
Except now, what Joe Biden's policies are
I'm not saying he's doing the right thing.
It's actually bolstering and emboldening China.
But let's just try and be fair. So I think that's an example it sounds like we would agree about, okay? They would say, another example.
Well, this is like, okay, this is something that almost never happens on the Tim Pool Variety Hour. Somebody actually trying to consider what the other side of whatever they're, like, going after might say for themselves. Like, this never happens. This is actually, let's be interested to see how Tim Pool copes with this.
Example is the kind of precariousness of people's working lives, and therefore we need to do things that will help that with, and that's a lot of the driving force behind some of the stuff in the spending bill.
Yeah, except all that stuff, and that bill is basically dead in the water. Even Biden isn't really pushing it that much anymore. I mean, Manchin and Cinema performed their role as the rotating villains of the day to basically kill the thing, give the Democrats an excuse why they couldn't do even one thing that might possibly be in some way, perhaps even just indirectly beneficial to the people whose votes they need. I mean, God, if you're gonna pick something to hang your conspiracy theory on, maybe pick something that's actually being done.
But, and even there, I'd agree with some of that. But I'm just saying it's not the job of the federal government to do it.
Yeah.
You should be doing it at the state level or the local level, whatever. But I don't think that they... I don't know. What do you think that
they're the ones that created their dependency on China? They're the ones that are creating the modern problems in this world. So
no. What created... The reason China has this role in the U.S. economy and the world economy is that capitalists need a low-wage, heavily disciplined workforce that they can use in order to, as a manufacturing platform for all their stuff, So it has become central to the supply chain, and it is why the idea that the U.S. will ever actually meaningfully do anything about anything that they claim to care about that China does is just such nonsense. Because, first of all, sanctioning the country that makes kind of everything, I mean, not everything, but a substantial proportion of, especially like electronics parts, clothes, I mean, they're huge in the garment industry, a lot of other things, would just immediately fuck up the supply chains all over the place. And plus, if you sanction one of the leading low-wage platforms for offshore manufacturing, you're basically sanctioning Wall Street, and Wall Street doesn't even get sanctioned for the shit Wall Street does, let alone for the shit that somebody else is doing.
For the people to come and create the problem.
By the way, literally, they're the people. Like the guy Steve Ricchetti, who is the senior, whatever he's called, senior advisor, I think is his title, in in Biden's team. He's the number one guy, right?
Yeah.
He's been involved in putting all these bills together. He was there. He was the guy who orchestrated under the Clinton administration China's entry into the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
Yes, because again, it's a fucking low-wage manufacturing platform with a huge, highly disciplined workforce. And the thing is, and occasionally hear that employers have started talking about maybe bringing back some of these jobs from China, and that's never good news because it means that the fucking real wages of this country have dropped so far that even taking the shipping costs of making stuff in China and bringing it back here mean that China is suddenly a more expensive place than just exploiting workers here. It's not some grand conspiracy. It's just, it's the way the free market that they supposedly are such big fans of operates.
And he's totally corrupt. His brother's running a lobbying firm. Have you talked about all this? I don't know.
Oh, wow. You mean politicians being connected with lobbyists? That would never happen, in the Tory party. This guy, he's with the Daily Mail. Of course he's a fucking Tory, but I've had, confirmation that he is, in fact, a Tory. Yeah, you're gonna talk about corruption and you back the Tories?
On the show, I don't know. His brother's running a lobbying firm whose kind of clients have sort of spectacularly increased just in the last few months. Surprise, surprise, because his brother's right there in the White House with Biden.
Well, of course, and this has been happening for quite some time. Reagan, I seem to remember it being relatively new, and there was a lot of outrage over it when Reagan did it. He had the idea of just putting, all the cabinet level departments under the control of lobbyists who come from the respective industries, and that's basically been how it works since then. And so like this is just the way things work. They just just this ridiculous situation where, see, they get pissed off over corruption when the Democrats are doing it, and the Democrats, they love to talk about corruption as long as it's not the Democrats doing it. And the fact is, they're all doing basically the same fucking shit. And nobody gets investigated for it. Nobody goes to jail for it. Nobody, like, maybe there will be a settlement and, like, a fine that's, like, maybe 1/2 cent on per $1,000 that's been stolen through these mechanisms. But, I mean, like, it's not, this is, of course Biden is dodgy as fuck. You don't get to be the senator for one of the world's greatest corporate tax havens, i.e. Delaware, by having a fucking clean jacket.
You have the people causing the problem offering up the only solution.
Yeah.
So when people are suffering because they can't find work, they can't make enough money because of inflation, they're struggling with shortages across the board. These are all problems created by the federal government.
And then they
Oh, well, no, these are problems created by capitalists. See, I mean, that statement that, the only people who are even listened to on the solution are the people creating the problem, that isn't strictly wrong, as long as you acknowledge that the people creating the problem are the capitalist class, and they're the people who filter the entire discussion on what the solution is, or even whether it constitutes a problem.
want to make you more dependent on them.
And now they're coming out saying, here's the solution to all those problems.
Problem, I agree with that
it's problem, reaction, solution is something that people talk about a lot. It's the same people who created it.
That's from Alex Jones, actually. That's an Alex Jones quote.
Same people who are coming in with a solution, and the solution benefits them even that much greatly. I mean, if you look at what they're doing, right, in the name of helping people, they're limiting people's ability to travel. They're limiting people's ability to earn money.
Okay, when was this? November 10th, 2021. Okay, so it's been a little bit. And yeah, at this point, they weren't limiting any of that. There was basically no meaningful COVID precautions in place that would affect that. I mean, though, by that point.
They're limiting people's ability to have a family, to have a happy, productive life. And what they're doing is we literally have witnessed one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history during the lockdowns, which helped out the billionaire class and screwed everyone else over.
Yeah, well, actually, it isn't so much. It wasn't just the lockdowns, though. In fact, it wasn't mainly the lockdowns. Because what the billionaires who did the best out of that, what they were doing, those were people who profited from industries that people are using who, after the fake-ass lockdowns that never actually really shut down much, and did it in a way that was deliberately unsustainable, after that was over, people who still did not want to be exposing themselves to places where they were likely to get infected, people like me, for example, where, I mean, I've been boring myself to tears for 2 years. I haven't really gone much of anywhere because I'm sure as fuck not gonna. I haven't gotten it yet, and I have absolutely everything I hear about COVID. It reinforces my desire not to ever have that shit. It is bad fucking news. So yeah. And so, yeah, obviously the people who are running, like, who are profiting off of, who have money in, like, delivery apps and takeaways and anything that involves doing, like, shopping and stuff like that, where, without leaving your home, without going into the shop, yeah, of course they're doing extremely well. And guess who was, like, poised to profit massively off of a situation where you have a lot of people who have very good reason to be totally reluctant to be going into the shops and, breathing everybody's fucking breath. But everything else is operating. I mean, that's fucking Jeff Bezos at Amazon. They're like perfectly poised, and of course, they did absolutely amazingly. They broke all kinds of fucking records. So yeah, it's not the lockdown. The billionaires hated the fucking fake ass lockdowns because they were losing money when people were staying home from work. And they're the reason that it isn't even a topic of discussion now, even though it's like more important to do that than ever, to stop, because the workplace and the schools are like the main vectors of transmission. Vector isn't the right word. The main sites of fucking transmission, because it's where people end up packed together closely who would not otherwise come into contact.
And then we are seeing people's wealth literally be eviscerated, robbed right in front of them, as billionaires have made off with the most amount of money almost in all of recorded human history.
Well, I mean, Wyoming has one thing going for it in this context that I can think of, and isn't it it is the most sparsely populated state in the continental U.S., isn't it? I mean, it's pretty well spread out. And perfectly rectangular. You don't see a lot of that.
We're talking about trillions of dollars being transferred from poor middle-class people going to, of course, the Schwab.
You're a fucking right libertarian, and you don't like the fact that the rich are getting exactly what they want? And you're accusing other people. I mean, remember, this was about... God, I mean, this is quite the tangent, because they started out by saying that wokeness is chaotic. It doesn't stand for anything. It's ideological. It's internally contradictory. They gave examples that were totally consistent with each other ideologically. But that's what and here this guy, they're like, oh shit, that's fucked up. The rich people are getting all the money, and it's like, you're the ones who support the system where the rich people get all the fucking money. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The Bezos, the Gateses, and all these other individuals that are living by a different set of rules that get to do whatever they want as they tell you that you are living beyond your means as they're flying around in their private jets on their beachfront properties saying, I know what's right for you. I need more power. I need more money. I will tell you.
You're a fucking right libertarian. You're the one who wants to give them all the power. Like, I mean, Jesus. Like, how do these people manage to keep these thoughts? Like, to feel so strongly about both of these things. Like, on the one hand, it's bad when rich people have all the money and power, and on the other hand, the status quo is great, and the one thing that really needs to change is that rich people are subject to too few restrictions. Oh, well, yeah, I guess.
Exactly how to live your life, and I refuse to be a slave or peasant under that kind of system, because that's exactly the system that
That's literally the system that you're advocating, though. That is literally, because this guy was on last night's stream, we were looking at this, and he was like, yeah, talking about how he's a right libertarian and all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, then why are you mad that the rich people are getting the money and the power? That's your thing. That's like, I mean, none of this this is so just fucking, they're gonna accuse other people of inconsistency?
They want you eating bugs. Yeah. They want you in a pod. They want you as a little unhealthy, fat, depressed ninny. And I refuse to live like that.
The best part is when these same people who, there's two big ones, obviously, when they fly in private jets to climate summits, but when they say...
Well, yeah, because the fucking capitalist climate summits are bullshit. Because capitalists that are not going to shut down capitalism... even if it means that humanity's days are numbered. If they were going to do anything about the climate within capitalism, it would have happened already. It would have happened a long fucking time ago. We've been talking about fucking global warming and climate change all my fucking life. Nothing has fucking happened. Of course that's bullshit that they're flying off in private jets to climate conferences, except the climate conferences are just all for show in the first place. Nothing meaningfully happens. Yeah, and that is very much the result of the involvement of the U.S. because the U.S. sabotages these things. They put their foot down anytime someone starts talking about how the U.S. is one of the major polluters, especially the U.S. military, and some countries, entire countries, are going to cease to exist because of rising sea levels and probably ought to be getting some kind of compensation since they're not the reason any of this is happening. And the U.S. says, no, fuck you, we're going to make this a non-binding honor code and then we're going to take some fucking pictures and then get back in our private jets. Like, why you mad? This is the system that you are defending here, Tim.
The water levels are rising and then buy beachfront property. Yes. I'm not. I think climate change is a big problem. I think humans are absolutely contributing to a lot of ecological collapse. Yes. But how am I supposed to support? You know what I think? I genuinely believe they use the urgency of ecological disaster, things we can see and measure, like the windshield phenomenon, bug populations, colony collapse disorder, to scare people into giving up their power so they can buy beachfront property. So
they already can buy beachfront property. They don't need anyone to give up more power so they can buy beachfront property. Who do you think owns all the fucking beachfront property? You think it's been a long time since, like, working class people with, like, normal incomes owned beachfront property in any, like, desirable location in the U.S. I mean, you look at these houses, and even the shitty ones, if you actually look at the price to buy them, even the relatively crappy, 1-2 bedroom place that's nothing special except that it's right by the beach, is going for 7 figures. The only people who are owning this shit are rich people to begin with. They don't need some special power to do that.
They can get private jets.
So, but they're the ones causing the ecological disasters. They're the ones. The military-industrial complex is one of the biggest polluters in the world.
Well, fucking hell. Okay, now all of a sudden, this is giving me whiplash because what he just said is actually true.
We haven't even had that discussion yet. The corporations in China,
they're the elites on the Titanic, and they're stealing the fine china and then jumping in a lifeboat before anyone knows what's happening. Thanks for
stealing the fine china. They have fine china. One of the things about being one of the fucking elites on first class in the Titanic is that you had the fine china at home already. You don't need to fucking steal a table setting from the Titanic when it's sinking. Like, is that a thing from the movie? It's been a long time since I saw it, and I didn't particularly care to see it again. Like, are the rich people stealing fine china from the Titanic on their way out?
For checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out.
So, like, they say, like, one thing that actually. It's like it ends right as as somebody says something that actually isn't wrong. Like, yes, but what does it mean? Okay, so you acknowledge that the rich people, the capitalists, are actually the reason we're facing ecological collapse. And then, okay, so what is your ideological conclusion? And in case of Luke Turdkowski, it is to remove any checks on their power, any regulations, or anything. And it's like, I mean, and these people are going to accuse somebody else of being inconsistent? That is fascinating to me. And now I think we're going to switch over to Geoguessr, because I need sort of a bit of a come down in between these things, because you use up a lot of wind on these commenting on these videos, because it's like, I mean, it's aneurysm material. It's a lot of this shit. So I think we're going to do some Geoguessr, and then we're going to come back and we'll do another video. Shit, I forgot to adjust the volume levels accordingly. Audio Ausgabe. Oh, you like the Geoguessr. Oh, that's cool. That's one. Let me tell you, if you like Geoguessr and you also like languages, I'm doing a thing on my other channel, Hyperpolyglotting with Elise, called Learn Languages Through Geoguessr. And what it is in the early evening, I've sort of settled with around 6 o'clock. Ah, you're still there. Nice to see you, Egan. Yeah, around 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the U.S., I play Geoguessr, and as a source of comprehensible input to help people learn, I narrate it in different languages. And the languages right now that I'm doing, I've been doing Spanish, German, and Japanese. I just did Spanish the other day. And so the next one is going to be in German. I just kind of settled on that sequence. And then after that, it'll be Japanese, and then it repeats. And maybe I'll add some other languages into that. But those are the ones I'm doing right now. And the idea is that there's this method of language teaching that's based on a very large body of really interesting research. A lot of it connected to a very interesting guy by the name of Stephen Krashen. You can find his talks on YouTube. Very good stuff. Language acquisition researcher. And the idea, which has about 40 years of research backing it, and it's also my experience. I hadn't heard of comprehensible input or Krashen or anything like that. It's just this is just how I sort of settled into learning languages, teaching myself, because it was the thing that works. The idea is you have comprehensible input that's interesting to you in a low stress environment. And so, oh, yay. Okay. Well, the next stream is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. and it's going to be in German. So, there's this teaching method that has come out of all this called TPRS, which stands for Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. And what it is you've got these pictures. The teacher, the way they traditionally do this in a classroom setting is teacher stands up and there's the picture, and the teacher talks about the picture in the target language. The picture is there to provide a point of reference so that what's called the language acquisition device in the brain can start to calculate what it's hearing and start to make sense out of it. And it occurred to me a few weeks back that, when you stream Geoguessr, this is what you're doing. You've got a picture and you're talking about the stuff that's in it. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to stream Geoguessr in different languages as a language learning tool. And so I'm doing it in Spanish, German, and Japanese, but we'll stick to English at the moment. I may occasionally switch over into Russian, since the language is represented in our chat, but not mostly. Okay, 24,107 points is where we were on the last one. Okay, play. Start game. And where are we? Fairly well-maintained residential area. Singelbeekstraat. That sounds Dutch. Could be Afrikaans, could be Flemish, but I'm thinking Dutch. Hask. Yeah, it is very much language orientated, so I don't really do a lot of politics in there. Occasionally the subject comes up a little bit. Like, the other thing I do over there is multilingual graphic short stories. And the last one I did was about an experience I had in Chile. Yeah, it looks like it could also be Flemish or Afrikaans. What was I saying? But sometimes it comes up. But mostly it is not a political channel in that sense. It is very centered around languages. Okay, nu посмотрим. Yeah, that doesn't give me a local authority name. Proximus. Yes, this is true, and that also helps for Afrikaans. Voedere DFK. Partners in business. Yes, Dutch is a very phlegmy language. Jan van Breda and Co. Okay. Diepenbeek, Eindhoven. Genk. Sint-Truiden. Tongeren. Ring Air 71. Okay, we've got enough. We're the R71 Ring Road. And we're not far from... Okay. Where was it? Diepenbeek, Diest, Eindhoven. I'm going to start with there. Let's see. Air 71, R71 Ring Road. There's a ring road, but that's not the R71. Oh, here is one of the most ridiculous borders ever, since we're in the area. That is this dark line here, this is a national border. This is partially Belgium, partially Netherlands, and it's all because of debts that some duke owed years ago. Diest, Eindhoven, Sint-Truiden, Tongeren, and Diepenbeek. Turnhout, Hoogstraten, Sint-Oederode. Air 71. En... Yeah, but we're looking for this... Yeah. I've always been curious to go there. It used to be that it was really kind of... That people had... That the cops couldn't actually deal with the borders. Because you have buildings that are like the opening... Good David Graeber reference there. Debt the first 5,000 exclaves. But, okay, so you'd have the building's front door was in Belgium and the rest of the building was in the Netherlands. And so nobody had jurisdiction over what was going on. The people who had jurisdiction over the entrance had no jurisdiction over anything going on in the building. And so the cops could not actually get warrants to raid houses where, like, they were, like, I don't know, I think it was, like, drugs mostly and some money laundering. Until it took them years, apparently, to work out that maybe they would have to do joint inquiries in this area with this most ridiculous border ever. Hoogstraat, Tungelrooy, Stamprooy. Now, where's this bloody Molenakker? Okay, have we got any other... N2, N2, N74, en Genk. N74. Okay, it's A73. We're looking for N74, maybe N5. Ah, yes. Okay. Oh, there, look, let's see if this is all Genk, Eindhoven, Centrum Noordring, Diest, N2, okay. Yes, good point. Yes, you're right, well spotted. Ah, there's Genk. Daar is Genk. 1,74. Okay, and where's this ring road? What was that? Air 74. Air 71. Ring road. Air R71. Dutch is fun to pronounce. It's N71. Ah, Air 71. There we go. I think we know exactly where we are. Hasselt. $1.2 miles off, 49.93. Yes, well spotted with the number plates. I had forgotten that. I've been to the Netherlands, but I did not actually remember that bit. Okay. This looks kind of... Oh, hold on. Yeah, this looks pretty North American. Keep left. Okay, we are in... Okay. English speaking, certainly. Except... 51262336. Turf specialist. Now I'm not sure because that phone number was wrong. Wrong for North America, anyway. Oh, Jesus, this cataract vision. And also that is... looks pretty much like it's left-handed. So yeah, not North America. South Africa or Australia come to mind. I mean, the shitty resolution could be either of them. Oh, thank fuck, I can see again. Latrobe Valley, that sounds Australian. Let's see, let's check out. That's good. It's in Victoria. Okay, Vic. Okay, there's Mo. Okay, have a good night. Thank you for joining me, as always. But we will be continuing for a bit longer. Prince's Freeway, Mo Cemetery, Baringa Special School, Mo Gardens. Latrobe Valley, this is Moore Street. Mo Garden Supplies. Old Sail Road. Gippsland Arboriculture Specialists. Yeah, Australia has Kmart's. Got IGA too. They do not have Burger King, though, because they call it Hungry Jack. Because of a delightful, intellectual property fuck-up. Old Sail Road. Haunted Hills. Latrobe Valley Drafting we're after. In Moore Street. Yeah, not everybody has Royal Freemasons. Brook Street, York Street, Moe Retirement Village, Weir Way. Prince's Highway, Tambo, Trafalgar and Baringa. Oh. Oh. 1.7 miles, not bad at all. 49.91. Well, in Britain, okay, we are in a Spanish-speaking place, Liceo Evangélico Ebenezer. But, Freemasonry as it exists in the Commonwealth has a lot more to do with getting people off drink driving charges. Tramita tu visa americana con nosotros. Visa consultants, librería. Yeah, this could be, so far, I'm not seeing anything that says anything beyond South America. Definitely South America, though. Construir Cemento Progreso. A ver qué weá. Barrotería El Granero. It's like a supermarket kind of thing. Comedor y Tortillería. Okay, we're in Mexico. There we go. There's the Tortillería. Yeah, Liceo is a high school. It depends on the country. Some places they will have, some places they call it Escuela Secundaria. But, like in Chile, for example, they say Liceo. And Tortillería is a pretty clear statement that we're almost certainly in Mexico, or possibly someplace in Central America, but you don't really see tortillerias and Licenciado Francisco Navarro. This use of academic titles like this, also very Mexican. Licenciado just means like an LLB, a Bachelor of Laws. Comedor y Tortillería América. Yeah, we're in Mexico. Pinchazo, venta de llanta, tires. That is an Argentine flag, but I'm not entirely convinced that this would in fact be Argentina, because tortilleria in Argentina, that's not a thing. They don't even have good Mexican food in Argentina. Yeah, I mean, the Mexican food in the Southern Cone is dire. There's one really good, genuine Mexican restaurant that I know of in Chile and Argentina, and it's a place in Chile called Locuate. Oh, Guatemala's flag. Let me have another look. Okay, that would explain it. Colegio Elam. It's a school named after Garak. Oh, yes, you are correct. That is not Argentina. It's just the same. The colors are similar, but the bit in the middle isn't. Yeah, Guatemala. Okay, that makes perfect sense. That you would find a tortilleria in Guatemala. Okay. This is the first time that it has ever taken me to Guatemala. Hotel Rancho Grande. El Pollita. Potatoes and chicken. Chicken and chips. Colegio means school. Depending on the country, it can mean any level of school except for university. Like primary school can also be referred to as colegio. Se alquilan locali. Central Ferretera, el ahorro. Variedad de regalos Betsy. Hotel Mayacanek. Panajachel, Guatemala. I do not know Guatemalan geography. Panajachel. Ahí estamos, weón. Sí, Panajachel. Hotel del Lago. Casa Cachiquel. Hotel del Lago. Supermercado La Torre. Hotel Rancho Grande. Ok. Despensa familiar. Ahí estamos, weón. Yeah, well spotted on that flag there. So I was just going by that light blue. I'd forgotten altogether that Guatemala has a similar kind of light sky blue color in there. Hotel Real Santander, Ferroeléctrico, Churrasco. Hotel Dos Mundo. See, I missed the musket. I was so focused on the color on both sides of it. El Chaparral. Okay. $711. 49.98. Okay, we're in Japan. Sakuragaoka. Okay, that we could be in Nagoya actually. Sakuragaoka Yonchoumi. Keiki Tokuhi. Cake sounds good. I have not actually. I had my birthday last week. I have not yet had any kind of cake related thing. Asahi Jidosha. Car yard. Kokuro 25号 Sato Yamamoto. Okay. We're looking for Route 25 in Japan. $23. I'm gonna just start. $258. $23. Yeah, sure, just a sec. Okay, I'm just putting the links in chat. This is the YouTube link, and then the other one is... Those are the two language-related channels. Okay, we're looking for National Route 25. I have a feeling, because of the name Sakuragaoka, that we are in fact someplace in or around Nagoya, because I know there's a part of that town by that name. As I spent some time there a very long time ago. $215. Trouble is, a name like Sakuragaoka, it is not unusual for something like that to be repeated. Because it just means Cherry Blossom Hill. 71, 40, 23, 30, 59. Wait. Sato Yamamoto. Okay, maybe this is not Nagoya because Sato and Yamamoto. Wait, 21. Then again, these aren't always grouped together all that much. 417, 161, 27. 367、9、27。一体どこなんだろう。27. It is 25 we're after, yes? Yeah. And it's near a place called Yamamoto. Mieken. Okay, I wasn't too far off. That is not far from Nagoya. That is one prefecture over. Asahi 258 Sakura Yokkaichi. Wait, Yokkaichi-shi. Okay, there we go. That's where it is. Yokkaichi-shi. Now we're looking for Sakuragaoka and Route 25. Actually, hold on. Route 25 will be easier to find zoomed out, I think. Here's Sakura. Sakurashimachi. Chishakucho. Uruda. 14625. Six 116. Hell. Osaka-fu. Wait. Okay, so it starts in Yokkaichi and then it goes to Osaka. Okay. So it's an east-west road then, more or less. There it is, 25. Okay, 25. Haricho. Narahako. Yamazoe. Hatta. Now, we're looking for Sato or Yamamoto. And near this Route 25. Or Sakuragaoka. Kuwamachi. Kayamachi. Aeku ni. 足もつげ振動 兜 Turtle Ace Golf Club Kameyama. Wait, where the hell did Route 25 go? Ah, there's Route 25. Higashi no Egamuro Kawaicho Sukiya. Kasado Yugecho Sonocho. It is somewhere along this route. As are a million other things. Oh wait, is see Uneme Gaoka? Okay, maybe there's another Gaoka nearby. Ogoso Higashi Oiwake. Shiohama Salt Beach. Wait, is that the end of 25? Does 25 not continue after that? Oh, well, yeah, that's right. It wouldn't continue after that because it ends in Yokkaichi, and that is Yokkaichi. Kasado. Hell. Fukusumi. Oh wait, where did... Ah, there's 25 again. Nada, I've been there. Lots of very old temples around that way. And very fucking aggressive deer. I didn't know how aggressive deer could get over some fucking rice crackers. They will fuck you up. Cute little deer, you wouldn't credit it, but they will fucking shank you for some rice crackers. Yamazoe Mura. Osose. Ah, fuck it. 27 miles. Shit, it was right. It was right in Osaka. 48.55 still, though. Not bad. Quick 360. That says welcome. Capital Walk Luxury Apartment Homes. Palm trees. Right side driving, and there's a Lowe's. Okay, I'm saying North America. Commonwealth Exterior Boulevard. Okay, this is a route that is likely to have a number eventually. Yeah, I mean, it could be Canada. Canada or, hell, dead end. Oh. Come on, give me a route number here. Capital Walk Apartments. Commonwealth. Capital Circle. West. The I-10. Okay. I-10 by Lake City. Okay. Commonwealth. Does not really... I wouldn't expect that around here. Where does I-10 finish up? How far does that go? I-10... Houston... Mississippi... Florida... Lake City. $5 points. And it goes into Jacksonville. Lowe's Garden Center. Is this the Lowe's on Commonwealth Boulevard? Roosevelt Boulevard. Oh, Caleb Maupin would be happy. He loves things that are Roosevelt related. Yeah, Commonwealth did not say Florida to me. I mean, there are places in the U.S. where that would make sense, where you'd expect that, because, like, Kentucky's a Commonwealth, Virginia's a Commonwealth, Massachusetts also. But I would not have expected that in Florida. Popeyes. Stimson Street. Verna. Capital and Commonwealth. DeVoe. Although they said it was near Lake City. So maybe I'm... Bell Road. Hold on, what exactly? East, okay, it's west of Lake City. It is west of Lake City, because the east... Wait, yeah, let me see. I-10 east takes you to Lake City, so it has to be west of Lake City. It's not actually in Lake City. Moe's Southwest Grill, Perimeter Road, Ohio Avenue, Tesla supercharger. Townsend Brothers Farm. Dogfish Studio. Arby's. Maison d'enfance de Richard. Not sure why it's in French. Yeah. But I don't see what we're looking for is Commonwealth or Commonwealth Boulevard, Capitol Road. And it's to the west of Lake City. And there's an on-ramp for the I-10 as well nearby. We have a very specific set of criteria at this point. Lower Springs Road, Queen, Lake Jeffrey, Bagel. It's a street named after bagels? Osterhout Lane. Watertown, Valdosta Road. Sotoro urinarune Kutkeminun. Still Road, Gum Swamp Road, Clyde Varnes. Pony Dobson Road. Is that like a James Dobson horseplay fantasy? Rick Stafford Road, Reed Stafford Road. Lots of Stafford Roads. Burger King. Hold on, were there other route numbers listed? No, it was just west, east, and west 10. Hell. White House Elementary. Oh, we're already way too far to the east. Oh, Tallahassee would make sense, capital and Commonwealth and all that shit. Cherries Cross. There's a Lowe's. Commonwealth Boulevard. Okay, Tallahassee. There we go. Sleep In University? I like that. Yeah, got it. $293 yards. And 4,999 points. Okay, I'm thinking I might call it a night for today. Call it a day for tonight. Yeah, 24,836. That's actually, I think, my best score in the past couple of weeks. That's nearly the maximum you can get is 25,000. So I was very close. So I think I'm going to call it a night and get some rest. But I will be back tomorrow evening for Learn German through Geoguessr on the other channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Добро пожаловать, Igor. Nice to see new people always. And nice to see returning people as well. И вот, пожалуй, мы увидимся завтра.